welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for July 18th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, we got a little bit of a smaller week this week than we did last week. You know, we got hammered last week. So this week I'm starting off with A vs. X Round 8. I've really been liking this book. I think it's been good. I mean, we're really getting kind of we're getting to the gist of the Avengers versus X-Men. Kind of interesting where, you know, Scott's sort of becoming a Magneto-type character and he's imposing his will on everyone. Well, in this issue, we really get to see just how much of an imposition it is because now Namor gets to speak up. And Namor imposes his will on everyone all the time. So imagine if he's got the Phoenix power, and kind of interesting, a little anticlimactic compared to what I've been expecting from it, but I know we're getting some more really good stuff in the next 4 issues. They need to hit this beat and move on, and I thought it was pretty cool. This could fit right into the Versus issue because this is a giant fight.
Nice.
Then I'm looking at Fantastic Four 608. The FF is in Wakanda, and there's stuff going on there. There were some mummy, zombie-type dudes in the last issue, and now Reed Richards and T'Challa are going to the City of the Dead, the Wakanda's City of the Dead. Their hidden necropolis, it says. So, yeah, that should be pretty good. I didn't get a chance to get to that one yet, but I have read a few things this week. I'm looking at Daredevil number 15. This book has been solid all the way through.
Just Eisner Award-winning Daredevil.
Yeah.
It just won best ongoing series?
Yeah, I believe so.
And best writer.
Yeah, Mark Waid cleaned up.
Yeah.
At the Eisners, as far as I know. And yeah, who's doing the art on this one? Chris Samney, who does some great stuff. Just a great book. If you're not reading it, you should be. Daredevil's been really, really fun again. And the art kind of helps it, I think. You know, it makes it a really fun deal. Then I'm looking at Infernal Man-Thing, number 2 of 3. This was a so-called sequel to a Man-Thing story that they had done, you know, in an old issue of Man-Thing. The first issue had a reprint of that issue. You know, it looks like here's the second part of that issue as well. So they've been reprinting the original story in the back. But this looks like this is one of the last things Steve Gerber did.
Yeah.
The art's good. It's a good Man-Thing story. It's been pretty cool. I really liked the first issue. Kind of weird, but Man-Thing's kind of weird.
I read somewhere that one of the reasons this has taken so long is the artwork by Kevin Nowlan, which is completely painted. I believe it takes him a week each page.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a slow process.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, the first one just came out, what, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
So they must have just been pushing back the solicit.
Oh, yeah,
so
they waited until they were all done.
Then I'm looking at Exo Manowar number 3. This book has been awesome. I'm a slappy for Valiant anyway, and I've been liking all this stuff, but this one is probably my favorite of the 3 titles we've gotten so far between Harbinger, Bloodshot, and this one. The first 2 issues, I mean, the way we're at with comics now is it's this decompressed storytelling. Yeah. Everything takes a little bit longer. First 2 issues, he's a slave. He's, you know, the spider aliens are doing their thing. And, you know, at the end of the last issue, he gets Shanhara.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get to kind of where we were in, I guess, the first issue of Exo Manowar, where he gets down to Earth and realizes, you know, hey, this is not where I'm supposed to be.
Everything takes 3 times longer now.
Pretty much. So he arrives, you know, he's going to arrive at Earth. He's still got to get his escape on. And they basically have to set up everything so that it is the Exo Manowar that we know. But it really good issue. Cool stuff. Really, really dug it. Then I'm looking at Mars Attacks number 2. I really like this book. John Layman is doing some great stuff. I mean, kind of, you know, he'd done a few little offbeat weird things prior to Chew. Now the guy literally can do whatever he wants.
He's doing detective comics.
He's going to be doing detective coming up. I mean, it seems like this one is kind of a fun project for him. I mean, he did that, Godzilla, Gangsters, and Goliaths. So he likes the weirdness. He likes doing weird stuff. And this, I think, is a beautiful mixture of the fun and weird that you get from Chew, along with aliens. And it tells a really cool story. I like how the chapter breaks are little trading cards to kind of push you to where it needs to be. The first issue was, you know, they come down and they're setting up the trading card set, but then they capture an alien. They keep flashing back between essentially the 50s, which is when the trading card the trading card set first came out, and now when they're attacking Earth. So it's like, well, somebody knew 50 years ago, and now we're getting attacked again. And it keeps flopping back and forth between the 2 stories. Really, really cool stuff. And that is the bulk of my very light stack this week. What are you looking at?
Well, I've also got a light stack this week. I'm going to start off with Green Lantern Corps number 11. This is more Green Lanterns versus Alpha Lanterns. You know, again, I'm not really sure what's going on. I keep saying that every month.
Didn't they do Alpha Lantern story before the reboot?
They did, and Jon Stewart is on trial for executing a Lantern who is about to give up some secrets. So because he killed another Lantern,
people are always giving him a hard time, but it's just a comedy show. He's not a real newsman. Oh wait, never mind.
And so the Guy Gardner busts him out of his jail, and they're taking on the Alpha Lanterns, and there's just more Lantern on Lantern fighting. That seems to be what this book's been about lately. Still pretty solid stuff, but it's also a lot of, we've kind of seen this before.
Lantern on Lantern's legal in the cosmos?
Yes, it is, on some planets. It's some planets. The planet with the little blue people
totally
with the big
legal.
heads, a lot of things are legal there. Next up, we got Uncanny X-Men. This is the AVX crossover. This is Mr. Sinister has been expecting the Phoenix Force to come to Earth, and he was aware that it was going to take over the 5 X-Men that it did. He is prepared for it. They've launched an attack on Sinister to get rid of him, to take him out finally, but the whole thing is just a plot by him to steal the Phoenix Force and put it into one of his Madeline Gray clones.
Okay.
Madeline Pryor clone. That's it, Madeline. Whatever her name was.
But how do you clone a clone?
It's probably not that easy, but he's a master geneticist.
Okay.
So in any event, his plan is to
mess.
steal the Phoenix power. I'm sure he won't, because if he did, that'll ruin the main book. But in any event, it's Kieran Gillen still doing a great job with Daniel Acuna on the art, and a really nice Phoenix painted cover there.
Cool.
Next up, Mark Miller, Dave Gibbons' Secret Service. This continues his creator-owned Icon book. Basically, it's kind of like Wanted, except with a guy who's a spy.
Right.
So the guy is this sort of smart kid. His uncle is a big-time super spy. His family didn't know that. He saw that his nephew is basically heading down a path towards a life of crime, and he decides to bring him on to the Secret Service. And there's some big conspiracy story going on that's dealing with science fiction actors being kidnapped. Apparently that was an issue 1 that is supposedly going to play out. That wasn't just a fake one-off intro. Apparently that's going to be a little bit more.
That was pretty funny.
It was very, very funny. And this is just continuing the education of this soon-to-be British Secret Service agent. Next up, Reset. This is a weird book by Peter Bagg. Basically, this guy is part of a experiment where they do a virtual reality scenario where he can go back to different parts of his lives and relive them and reenact them and correct the mistakes of his youth. And apparently he also now is going back and reliving his life and turning himself into some sort of a super spy. But they haven't revealed who's behind this or why they're doing it. There's still kind of a mystery as to why they picked this guy. But it's been really, really strange, funny stuff. If you're a fan of Peter Bagg, this fits in pretty well. A little science fiction, a little conspiracy, a little weird. What was that movie with Jim Carrey? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's got a vibe like that somehow.
Okay.
But filtered through Peter Bagg, which is pretty strange.
I love that movie.
Next up,
and it's funny you keep saying weird and strange, but you're talking about Peter Bagg.
Yeah.
Those things are built in.
True. You should just keep saying Peter Bagg, and you don't need to go any farther. Next up is Justice League 11. This is Jeff Johns and Jim Lee back on the art chores again. It's 2 issues in a row. Pretty good, Jim. This has got the introduction of this new villain that's going to be the big villain that's behind everything. I can't remember his name.
He looks like Hellspawn.
Yeah. I wonder if they're tying some of this stuff into the Damonites. They've been popping up in a lot of DC books lately. But again, this is Jeff Johns and Jim Lee. I mean, you had me sold with that. You add on there a little bit of Shazam with Gary Frank artwork, and I'm down no matter what. This was the book that really relaunched the New 52, and it's still a pretty tight book. Next up, Unwritten. Again, this has been a really good story. I've actually caught up reading this month to month. It takes place several years after kind of that big confrontation we had.
Okay.
And it's basically Tommy is now kind of a cult figure, and there are these cults popping up that worship him. And I guess there have been some disappearances in Australia linked to one of the cults. This is about a police officer that's going undercover to find out what's up with that. I don't know if they're going to jump back in time afterwards or if they're just going to continue in this time frame. But it's really just kind of a ballsy, daring place to take the story, to just sort of jump like that and take a look at the impact of events that we didn't really get to see. But again, this is a great book. It's been a great book all along. If you haven't been picking it up, pick up the trades, get caught up because it's good stuff. Next up, Hellblazer. This is one of the classic Vertigo books. It's been around forever. This is starting a new storyline called Curse of the Constantines or Constantine. Some people pronounce it that way. Giuseppe Camuncoli's back on artwork. If you're familiar with the character, you know that there have been Constantines throughout history. He gets kind of reincarnated, going all the way back to Roman times or something. And all of them are kind of dabble in magic. All of them are troublemakers. So this is going to probably play a little bit into that some more. But again, good stuff. It's a great book. This is a place where you could probably jump on and start picking it up because it's a very accessible book once you kind of start at the beginning of the story. And he's basically kind of a wicked chain smoking magician. He's Harry Potter if Harry Potter was a punk rocker in the 70s. So but good stuff. Hellblazer's been one of my favorite books for a very long time, and that's the bulk of my stack.
All right, which I believe brings me to my top pick here, which is
surprised.
I know we're all shocked.
Yeah,
Saga number 5. This has been one of our top pick every month.
Yeah,
it's a great book. If not us, will.
Yeah.
Much to our chagrin last month.
Every issue, I think, has been a top pick. So
yes, this book has been fantastic. Fiona Staples is just killing the artwork. She's doing such a great job here. I really, really like the vibe that she creates for the story. And the story is just really, really strong. It's nice to have a monthly Brian K. Vaughan book again. I'm kind of curious where it's all going. This one is not as much, as last month. Last month was like, good Lord, my mom better not find this. This month is not that much. But there's some nice character building in this, and apparently, I have already read this, and I read the little intro to the letters page with Brian K. Vaughan, and apparently this script made Fiona Staples very sad. But she did a wonderful job on the artwork and kind of made me a little sad. Great book. Saga's awesome.
Yeah.
Get it if you can.
Great stuff.
If you can find that, at this point, you're probably going to have to jump on and read that first trade.
Right. That should probably be out sooner. Probably 5
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's a great sci-fi fantasy. It's not hard sci-fi. It's got wizards and magic in it.
Yeah.
A nice blend of the two genres. It's really one of the best books coming out every month.
And the story's just solid.
Yeah. My top pick is Star Trek Next Generation Doctor Who from IDW. I made the first issue of this, I think, my pick before. In this issue, it looks like we jump back in time. We've got James T. Kirk and the Tom Baker Doctor Who. So,
awesome.
We've just got classic stuff here. This is the Star Trek that put Star Trek on the map. It's the Doctor Who that put Doctor Who on the map. And in my opinion, gold velour and long scarves really do beat spandex and bow ties any day.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're a Star Trek fan, this is some great stuff, and a Doctor Who fan. This is classic stuff. So I'm looking forward to checking this out and seeing how they weave that story of the past into the present.
That crossover just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like when Dark Horse, secured Alien and Predator and then did Alien versus Predator comics, and lo and behold, that just totally makes sense. How had no one done that before?
Lawyers.
I imagine, but did either Marvel or DC hold either license at the same time? Marvel had a Doctor Who license.
Marvel had both licenses,
but just not at the same time.
I don't know if they had it at the same time.
And they just didn't put it together.
No, but IDW doing a great job with their license stuff as usual.
Indeed.
So that's my pick.
So now that it brings us towards the tail end of the show here, we've got this awesome AVX round 1 cover that Mike drew for us. With Mike and I duking it out as Cyclops and Captain America. Now, in order to win this thing, go on, whether you watch this on YouTube or you watch it on our Comics and More Facebook page or the WeekNGeek page or the Zod Complex page, we always put a link on somewhere. We put it on Google+. Wherever it is that you watch that link, comment on that link about what it is that you like about A versus X.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Just comment about what you think about A versus X, and we'll immediately throw you in. You'll be in the running. And then next week we'll pick it out of a hat or a box or whatever.
The winner will get the original hand-drawn cover and an 11x17 colored and signed pinup or print signed by the both of us.
Awesome. I'll get to sign a print?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Right on. Now everybody's going, I don't know if I want that.
Well, if you really want, we'll give you a print that's not signed. All right.
The print looks great, though. The color really looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of an old school coloring style that I used on it. But yeah.
So yeah, give us a comment, and you got a chance to win that next week. So with that, that is your Week in Geek.